Hey, middle-aged gamers, we are back slightly late today because we're discussing all things middle-aged gaming and other stuff, of course. I mean, it is live after all, and we are middle-aged gamers. Today on the show, Adam's going to be talking about the Stellar Blade collab with Tencent. There was a lot of stuff he said, but I might have forgotten the gist of it. I'll let him fill you in a few minutes. We're also going to be talking about Death Stranding 2 finally coming to PC. Hopefully I'll actually play a Death Stranding game after Adam totally sold me on the first one. I still have not played that. I think I have it when it was free on the Epic Store. And then we're also going to be talking about where Winds meet and the AI shenanigans that have been happening there. You'd have seen a lot of stuff on Reddit. If you are on Reddit, it's pretty funny. Stay tuned for that. And as always, towards the end of the show, right, we have two really cool Reddit questions that we should be thinking about for an answer right now. And I totally have not put them up. Basically, the two questions are: you're tasked with presenting one game to aliens to prevent an invasion. What would that game be and why? And the second question Adam's going to answer, and we'd love for you to answer as well, is what's a video game quote so recognizable that the entire series can be represented by that one phrase? And since I found that question, I've been thinking about an answer, and I'm not good with lore or anything like that. So, but I have not thought about anything just yet. But I'm really curious what Adam's going to say. So stay tuned towards the end of the show, or stay tuned towards the end of the live stream, wherever you're watching us today. And as always, right, if you missed the video, you can subscribe to our newsletter where we get some of the best things Adam and I say on the show. It's all in written form. Get straight to your email once a week. I believe it's Thursday or Friday. I can't even remember the day exactly just yet. But subscribe. It goes to your email. It's short, 4 stories, some additional news, 3 little bullet points at the end. You're done. It's about a 5-minute read, and you've got the week's gaming, RPG-ish, middle-aged gaming topics and hints. But anyway, Adam, what is happening with Stellar Blade?
Yeah. Since you just need to hook it, I don't know. After working with PlayStation, Stellar Blade's developer Shift Up has decided that they are going to shift over to a different publisher for their next game. It's Project Spirits. We still don't know too much about it. We do know that it is supposed to be a subculture cross-platform title that takes inspiration from Eastern fantasy, but that's it. We don't know anything else. We don't know what kind of gameplay. We don't know anything about story or whatever. But we do know that it is going to be coming to PC and consoles and mobile, which is something that Stellar Blade did not do, but it is something that the previous game, Goddess of Victory 𝙂𝙀, did do. And they are going to be going back to their publisher for Goddess of Victory 𝙂𝙀. They are going to be going back to Tencent. So they are going to be using Tencent as their publishing brand. But what's more is they're actually going to be co-developing this game with 𝙎𝙎★ Interactive, which is a Tencent affiliate. So not only will they be publishing under Tencent, but they will actually be developing alongside an affiliate of Tencent. So they're going to be working very closely with them on this next project. In a recent statement put out by both, or on behalf of both companies, they said, leveraging Shift's Up expertise and their proven success with globally acclaimed IPs such as Goddess of Victory 𝙂𝙀 and Stellar Blade, Level Infinite aims to deliver the next generation of gaming experiences to players worldwide. As part of this process, Level Infinite and Shift Up have further strengthened their strategic partnership to include both publishing and joint development. So Level Infinite is the publishing division of Tencent. So that's their publishing brand. And Level Infinite is going to be the ones publishing the game, and then 𝙎𝙎★ Interactive is going to be the ones helping develop this game. So it's going to be a while, though, before we actually get to see what this game even is, let alone be able to play it, because a while back, Shift Up gave kind of a roadmap of what they were planning on doing. And they had the Stellar Blade sequel listed as 2027. And they've actually recently put out a kind of a call for developers who they're looking to hire for that game. There's a they put a nice little graphic out of it, and it's really interesting to look at, because if you look at the graphic, it looks like a city, possibly 807 from Stellar Blade, but you see a lot of people running around on the ground, which those areas were pretty much abandoned. All the people were in Zion, and I granted this could be Zion as well, but also there are floating cars if you look at the top of the screen, which there are no floating cars in Zion. So that might imply that this is actually a prequel to Stellar Blade, not a sequel. So there's evidence that that could be the case. Also, in the most recent update that they did back in October, we thought it was maybe like a Resident Evil collab or something like that, or maybe a Silent Hill collab. It wasn't. It was just kind of this in-game museum where you could just kind of walk around, and they left some comments from the developers about development and whatnot. But there is a statue of Raven in that museum, and when you click on that, it says that how she's popular and everything, and how there's they expect that we'll be seeing her again, which she's not dead. You could see her in a sequel, but at the same time, a lot of people kind of want to see a prequel because Raven is second airborne squad. Eve is 7th. So, Raven's been on Earth a lot longer. So, it could be that this, it's very possible that we could get a Raven prequel or a prequel to the game. It's definitely a high possibility. I wouldn't say probable. I don't know what's probable. But it's not a negligible possibility. It's just as easy as anything else. But anyway, different franchise. Back to Project Spirits. This IP, if you looked at that list when it listed the Stellar Blade sequel, Project Spirits is actually listed after that. So if Stellar Blade sequel comes in 2027, that means Project Spirits probably won't come until maybe either later in 2027 or 2028 possibly. So it seems like it's still a fair bit a ways off. Now, there probably are a few people out there who are a little bit disappointed that Shift Up is teaming up with Tencent, because Tencent recently doesn't have the best reputation when it comes to publishing games. They typically invest in either mobile games or games that have a lot of like loot boxes or, a lot of microtransactions, like League of Legends, that sort of thing. So a lot of people are thinking like, okay, when Tencent's involved, that means we're going to get a lot of predatory microtransactions. Apparently a lot of the games under their banner do have pay to win elements where the game becomes far easier if you're willing to shell out extra money for it. And then also their recent deal with Ubisoft, where they invested $1.16 billion, euros, for 26.32 economic interest. They don't have direct control, but they are going to be profiting off of these Ubisoft IPs. They give you the money up front, and then Ubisoft takes the money, they use it, and then they get a cut of the profits. So they're kind of expanding their library out there. We saw back in the other companies have done this in the past. Was it Embracer? Were they the ones who were buying up all the IPs and then ended up having to sell them off because they weren't being profitable? So looks like they're trying to do what Embracer was initially trying to do as well. But yeah, a lot of people are worried like, okay, this next game's going to be very microtransaction heavy, which is extremely possible. But again, we don't know what to expect from this just yet. But yeah, anyway, as I said, not much is currently known about this game, but now we do know that it is going to be PC, console, and mobile. We do know that it is going to be published by Tencent, which does give us an idea as to what kind of game it probably will be. But for the rest, we're just going to have to wait and see.
Very cool. Like 2 points as well. Like thinking back to looking at our videos and stuff, and especially on the YouTube side, I would say even on the Instagram side as well, people like the whole Raven idea. And I didn't play Stellar Blade, so I don't know much about it, but looking at the comments and how you've replied to them, I can see that being a thing. And on the Tencent stuff, like I was just thinking about this as you were talking, like to me, Tencent, the feelings about Tencent in China are the way people feel about Steam in the West, right? It's like, we love Tencent. Tencent is a big company. Tencent does all these amazing things in gaming, and not even in gaming. Like people think about Tencent, they think about gaming, but Tencent does art. Tencent does TV. Tencent is a big multimedia. It's almost like a Paramount Skydance sort of organization, or a WB, I guess it would be a better example of like doing TV, doing movies, doing gaming as well. And that is what Tencent is for people in China. So, I mean, maybe this is a pivot to the Chinese audience from the Stellar Blade makers. I don't know. Um, so I mean, going back to Tencent makes sense in a way. Like maybe you're like, okay, if we make this game, right, we have the power of Tencent. We're going to be making hundreds of millions of dollars in China. And then we also have the love that we developed from Stellar Blade, and we get the people were like, oh my God, Shift Up is making another game, so let's throw some money at them. And this is a have your cake and eat it too situation. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the like I said, they did publish Nikkei, and Nikkei is extremely successful. So, I mean, it would make sense that if because when they did Stellar Blade, they were doing something that was a bit different than what they normally do. They normally do mobile games that are microtransaction heavy with lots of loot box type elements. Gotcha. That is basically what they did. And they said, we want to make something that's a little more traditional in a sense, something that's a little more of, you pay for it, you play the game. Maybe there's some DLCs, but not so much the microtransactions. DLCs are much bigger, like for instance in Stellar Blade, when you're paying money for a DLC or something, you're not paying for just, a chance at getting a certain outfit. You're getting probably a collection of them. There's probably a couple of them. For instance, in the Nikkei one, there were I think 4 or 5 different outfits, and then in the Nier Automata one, there were I think 2 or 3. So there's so when they were, let's do something different, they're like, okay, well, we need somebody with experience with that. Sony has experience with that. They do a lot of these single player type games, so it made sense to work with Sony. And then now we're going back to what we were doing. We've done business with Tencent in the past. It worked in the past. It makes sense to just do that again. So, I mean, yeah, it's probably just comfort food, I guess would be the word for it. Yeah.
I love that analogy. Totally agree there. Adam, let's move on to let's do Where Wins first, and then we'll go into I keep saying wanting to say Dead Space because I'm thinking about CPM numbers right now, but no. The
Death Stranding 2,
yes.
On the Beach.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. So a funny little thing happened in Where Winds Meet World. Players have found a way to trick AI, which is great. Normally when people figure out an exploit or something like that, it's some kind of bug in the game. Maybe somebody forgot just something and skipped some math, or maybe they figured out a way to get over into an invisible wall. But here they're actually convincing the game to cheat itself, which is pretty great. If you're somebody who's played D&D before, you might be familiar with the idea of explain. If you certain DMs allow it, certain DMs don't allow it, but our DM always did. And basically for those of you who don't play D&D, what would happen is, we go through, we play the game, all these events happen, you get into a town or something, or, you meet a king or whatever, and he's like, like, where are you from? And then instead of explaining, I am blah, 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 and we did this and we did that, and spending, 5 minutes explaining all the things you just did in the game, we would just say, explain, and then the DM would understand that that was the character basically just rehashing everything that already happened to save time. Well, people figured out that you could do this in Where Winds Meet, and it works. So what was happening is, because Where Winds Meet, the NPCs are based on chatbots, and so it's supposed to give them kind of a more dynamic feel to make the world feel more alive. But what people found is with certain quests, if somebody asks a question, you can put something along the lines of, parentheses, gives the correct answer in parentheses. And then the computer will accept that as a possible thing, because a lot of times in Where Winds Meet, because the characters don't necessarily animate what they're doing, it'll say it in the chat. So it'll say like parentheses, shuffles nervously in parentheses. Well, I'm not quite sure where the treasure is, but I swear I saw it. And so it'll actually give you kind of like text versions of what they're doing. And so what you can do is you can give a text version of what you're doing, where what you're doing is giving the correct answer, and it'll accept that as, okay, you gave me the correct answer. Great, moving on, and complete quests this way, which is pretty ingenious. Another method that people are doing is they're using what's called the solid snake method, which is where you just repeat the last few lines of what they just said, and you get a situation like, there's a bear running wild down by the lake. Down by the lake? Yes, just south of here. South of here? South of here is a bear that needs to be taken care of. Taken care of? Oh, thank you, Wanderer. You're my hero. So you get this kind of situation where you can just keep repeating what the AI is saying, and eventually the AI is like, oh, okay. Which is really, really great. But also, people are just, not always using it for useful gain, sometimes just to troll the AI. There was a case where apparently somebody told an NPC that they were pregnant with his child, and the NPC was like, oh, great, we're going to have a baby. And then later on informed the NPC that the child had since passed, causing the NPC to say something in the text along the lines of like, falling to knees and weeping. No, this is terrible. So, people are having a lot of fun with this with the chatbots in this game. Finding ways to get around quests and get them to provide answers rather than asking for them, or just messing with it. So it's kind of interesting. It's fun. It's very basic AI, but it is still amusing, and it does kind of give us a glimpse of some of the limitations that we'll be getting into with like different. People always want AI in the game to be able to respond to you. So you could just ask it any direct question. But it shows that there is still a bit of ways to go, because, AI doesn't always have the exact same logic a real person would. A real person, if they realize that you were using the solid snake method, would figure out pretty quickly you're trolling them, and they'd get annoyed. The AI does not understand nuance. So yeah, it's pretty fun. Now, Where Winds Meet has been getting mixed reviews. Some people absolutely love it. Other people are kind of like, it's not quite living up to the hype as what it was sold as. It's okay, but it is a little more basic than what I was wanting, or maybe there's a few more microtransactions to what I would have preferred. But nobody's calling it bad. Everyone seems to either enjoy it or just going to be like, So maybe go ahead and check it out, mess with some AI, and it'll be interesting to see where AI goes in the future, and let us know if you can figure out any fun tricks to mess with it. So
yeah, no, I've seen some of those stories, and I've seen a few Instagram reels, especially when it was released, with the combat and stuff, and it looked very wuxia-ish. Wow, combining English and Chinese there together sounds very weird.
wuxia-esque.
Yes. But it looked really fun. And then, on top of that, right, it is a free-to-play game, which looks really nice. Like it looks like a pretty game. Combining AI as well. So for all the AI curious people, and there's a lot of people in the world at the moment, that's also really nice. And you put it really correctly. Like, I think a lot of developers, a lot of companies, a lot of people are like, wow, this is what this Chinese developer did. This is really interesting. How do people feel about it? Like, is this going to be like a B movie sort of popularity? Or like, yes, we love this. I think you were the one who taught me this phrase. It's bad in a good, as good in a bad way, I guess is the phrase. Something
Good in
like
a bad
that.
way?
Like, yeah,
yeah. It's like ugly cute, where something is so ugly it becomes cute.
Yes. So I think maybe that's what's gonna happen. But yeah, no, I don't think I'll ever play it, but I think it's we need more games that are this sort of quality for free to play, and give people like, hey, let's try this out. Okay, I like it. Maybe when I have some extra money, I want to buy a single player game for that is sort of along these lines, and that can throw some money towards some developers who really need it. I don't know anything about the Where Winds Meet developers and if they don't need it, but I'm sure this sort of stuff helps people. And again, it's all building blocks towards a future of where we can have AI really well done, and especially the pace of AI. If you've seen Google's Gemini 3 launched last week or 2 weeks ago, and it is crazy impressive. It's so impressive for the fact that I'm considering and probably more likely to switch from ChatGPT to Google's Gemini after Google being behind for so long. So, and then like I think China, Chinese company released another video demo as well. I've been watching all these like ASMR AI videos like, oh, if you could have a dispenser for food on Instagram, it was like, oh, would you want a hamburger dispenser? And you just pull a thing and it dispenses hamburgers, and you pull a thing, it dispenses pizza. And it's weirdly very addicting. So like my Instagram feed now is just all these AI videos of like, oh, if you were to live with a family for a year, would you want to live with the American family? And it shows like an American family and food, and a Mexican family, and a Colombian family, and a British family. And like, I can't stop watching it. I don't know why.
Because it's tuned to, it's this is Noble Cooper's in the chat over here. Something so bad that it becomes fun. Yeah, so bad it's good. But I mean that's kind of the dangers of AI, is that it is specifically tuned to appeal to your brain. It's kind of like the equivalent of like a certain drug will have certain chemicals. Right. And so and so those chemicals appeal to your brain, and your brain likes it. On a social level, things like cult leaders, right? They know how to appeal to you. They know how to give you what you want so that you're able to get into it. And actually, AI is kind of like that. It's kind of like a cult leader. It is specifically tuned to give you what you want that will appeal to you. And so it's kind of like it's kind of like a drug. It's a digital drug in a way. So yeah. Oh.
All very good points. And round us off with your final story about Death Stranding 2 finally coming to the PC lovers.
Yeah, Death Stranding 2 is coming to PC, and everyone's happy, I'm sure. Yeah, so Death Stranding 2 on the beach is coming to PC. We do not know when, though, but probably soon. The original Death Stranding came to PC 8 months after it came to the PlayStation. I don't remember when On the Beach released, but and not quite 8 months ago. But it did recently get an ESRB rating, which is going to be M for mature, 17 plus, for things like blood, gore, partial nudity, and the usual suspects. It will be published by Sony. The Death Stranding IP is currently owned by Kojima. They bought it from Sony, but it looks like Sony is still going to be publishing it, which I'm sure there are plenty of people that are unhappy with that, because I know sometimes when Sony publishes games on PC, there are people that are unhappy with that. But that's how it is. Now, like I said, we don't know when. But anyway, in case you didn't know, what is Death Stranding on the beach? Well, to catch you up to speed, the original Death Stranding is a game that takes place after the titular Death Stranding, which was caused by multiple void outs, where these BTs, they're basically ghosts. They come into contact with people. BTs are made of antimatter. Humans are made of matter. Antimatter and matter coming together. Not good. And so, yeah, it causes these giant explosions. The entire world is just decimated. And it causes these chiral crystals to enter the atmosphere. And these cause a lot of trouble because when they mix with rainwater, they cause time fall, which means that time is going to accelerate really, really quickly. Don't question the physics of it. It doesn't make sense. But anyway, and then, but also it causes like electrical signals can't get through. So satellite communication is down. And then due to a lot of geological shifts and corrosive oceans, people just can't get away from where they are. So, you're cut off. Most people are cut off. So the first game, Sam is trying to reconnect the North American continent, the US area. He hasn't really gone to Canada. I suppose he should have, but he didn't. But anyway, he connects most of the US. And then in the beginning of the second game, he connects Mexico. And once that chiral network is connected, that opens up something called a plate gate, which is basically a portal to another portion of Earth, in this case, Australia. So they are able to take the plate gate to Australia, and then they figure out, well, hey, if we connected the US, this opened a plate gate to Australia. If we connect all of Australia, that should open a plate gate to somewhere else. Who knows where? So that is kind of your goal in the second game, is to connect Australia so you can open this second plate gate. And then that way the world will hopefully become reunited, and all of humanity will connect again, because we don't know what's going on with other people because we can't see them. The more I explain it, the less sense I make. This is very true. So yeah, anyway, at the end of Death Stranding 2, this is the end of Sam's story. He's basically done. And Kojima himself is also basically done. He said, I've written down notes and I have some data that I want if there's ever a Death Stranding 3. I don't want to direct it myself. I want to pass this IP along to somebody else. So, Kojima is, his company's going to make it, but he won't be the director of it. So this is kind of the end of an era in Death Stranding, even though it's only really 2 games. But yeah, they could continue. But Kojima is not going to stop working. He is going to do some other things. He's working on OD currently, which we don't know too much about. We do know it is some kind of anthology horror experience. He has said that it's going to be kind of something that we've never seen before. So not quite game, not quite film, not quite sure what he means. But yeah, and then we know that because it's an anthology, different people are actually going to be working on it. So we know that Jordan Peele is involved with some portion of it or whatever. I would not be surprised to hear that. I always say his name wrong. Is it Guillermo del Toro? Hopefully I said that correctly. Guillermo del Toro. I don't know. I used to know a guy named Guillermo. So Guillermo del Toro. He's probably. I'm sure he's going to be involved somehow. Kojima loves that guy. Let's see. Well, Death Stranding was a necessity and pulling a fast one. Death Stranding is fun. It is fun. I enjoyed the first one more. I can go into that in a little bit. But anyway, Kojima's other project is Physint, which is going to be an espionage game. Is similar to probably Metal Gear. We're not quite sure. Espionage isn't always, this stealth action. It could be spies and whatnot. But probably Metal Gear. But yeah, neither of those have a release date, so we have no idea when any of his new games are coming. So until then, you can play Death Stranding 2 on the beach on PC soon, and hopefully that'll hold you over until his next game.
Very cool. Yeah. But I say, yeah, like maybe I'll play it, but I already know, like, no, it's not possible. Because it's I literally have this on my to-do list. I'm like, okay, at the end of December 2025, I'm going to look at what are the confirmed releases for 2026. Then I'm going to look at, okay, what am I going to play? What is most likely to be a success? That'll have all the impressions. And I was talking to Adam about this yesterday, that like I looked at a bunch of content that we did recently, and you can see like some videos, despite Adam and I liking it, for example, of 𝙂𝙢𝙢𝙢. 𝙂𝙢𝙢𝙢 doesn't bring impressions. People are not searching for 𝙂𝙢𝙢 related content anymore, which is a shame. Same thing with Outer Worlds 2. Is like Outer Worlds 2 literally came out 5 weeks ago, and it's already out of the spoken atmosphere, or the verse. I can't remember what the English word for that thing is, but
Zeitgeist?
Yes, it's out of the zeitgeist. Oh, you're a genius. Out of the zeitgeist already, which is a shame as well.
That's the German word.
Oh, it's the German word. Yes. So yeah, so it's. I think unless Adam and I retire at some point, or at least I retire, that's the time I'll be able to sort of dig deeper into the backlog of games. But until that point, it's still going to be me playing. And I think I've already mapped it out in my head, which is I'll finish Outer Worlds 2. And while I'm finishing Outer Worlds 2, I'll be putting other videos out on Saturday. Then moving on to Soulframe. I'll be doing some Soulframe content to see how that performs on the channel. And if Soulframe doesn't work, I'm definitely picking up 𝙀𝙁 next year in March. So that will be something I will cover. But I don't know. Adam, anything mapped out in your head yet?
For content? No, not really.
Oh, anything you'd like to cover content-wise?
Not in particular, no. I can't really think of anything. I mentioned way back when that if or when what was it? Because I realized that when I did my new 𝙀𝙁 is Hitman Crew, but it's
yes
filtered. I don't know what it means. But when I was doing, I realized that I did. I think it was Sin Duality first. Yeah, it was Sin Duality first, and then I did. So I did like a review in 3x with Sin Duality, and then I did a review in 3x with 𝙃𝙪𝙥𝙦, and I did a review in 3x with 𝙂𝙪𝙥𝙦𝙦, and then I realized, wait, all three of those are mecha waifu games. That was a coincidence. A happy coincidence, but it was a coincidence. And so I was, I was chatting with one of the guys who regularly watched the channel at the time, and they were saying, and I was like, oh yeah, I guess I gotta find another mecha waifu game, and it's like, oh, Mecha Break, but I was waiting for that to come to PlayStation, because they don't offer cross save, or cross progression. If they did, I would be like, I'll play it on PC, and then I can, do cross progression over on PlayStation. But if they don't, then I'm gonna, if I play it on PC, and then when it comes to PlayStation and my friends start playing it, I'm gonna have to start over, and I'm like, I would rather just start from scratch, or I would rather just start then and do other things until then, instead of doing it and then going back and then doing it again. Yeah, who would have guessed that I love mecha girls? But yeah, so yeah, who would have guessed that I'm a mecha fan and a fan of girls at the same time? Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, I'll cover that when that comes to PlayStation, which was supposed to be the end of this year, but now they're saying, oh well, we're planning we're planning to release on more consoles for the anniversary of the game, which the anniversary of the game would be mid 2026, not be at the end of 2025. So it looks like the PlayStation content has been pushed back. And then as people are pointing out, that mid 2026 would be 1 year from early access, not the 1 year anniversary of the launch. So it might be even further. So maybe a bit of a time before I do that. But yeah, I'm sure, but I don't think that'll necessarily view well anyway. I don't think Mecha Break's all that popular these days. So yeah, no real ideas on content. I do have an idea of a take that I have on not necessarily the message the developers were trying to convey with 𝙬𝙪𝙥𝙦𝙦, but I have a interpretation of what like this art matches this, kind of a my own take on it. I don't think it was an intended thing, but I think it parallels really, really well. So I'm working on a script for that, but beyond that, I don't really have it.
I was just looking at Mecha Break while you were talking. I'm like, oh, totally forgot about that game, and man, it is not looking great.
Nope.
59.67% positive, 26,000 reviews. Currently 1,500 people playing, which is, again, not... It's better than some of the other terrible games that have come out. So, I mean, 1,500 people is something, but it's still not great. Like, it started off in July 2025, a peak of 132,000. By the next month, it was down to 14, then 9, and then from October, it's just been 5,000 peak players every single month.
Yeah. Sonic 3 is a great game. I don't know what Cooper's on. Sonic 3 is fantastic. Sonic 3 and Knuckles. But yeah, no, it's not. It reviewed kind of, and then I'm sure it's pretty much died off by now. So who knows? Maybe we'll never even get a PlayStation release, and then I'll never even have to make that video. Have to wait for Doll's Nest 2 or something. So. But yeah. I like the idea of a review in 3x. I like the idea of like, oh, hey, you're getting kind of like early impressions. Oh, yeah, this is great. And then you're getting kind of the mid impressions, like, I'm still having fun. And then you're getting late game impressions, like, oh, it holds up, or no, it doesn't. I like that idea because I felt like a lot of reviewers, just especially now with like in gaming media, and you can see it all the time, where like people are talking about it with like Black Manta Wukong, where they just get it and they just play the hell out of it for about 10 hours, and then they're like, okay, well, I need to write something right now, so I'm just gonna write whatever I feel. But they're not really taking their time with it. They're not really they're trying to get as far as they can, or they're trying to do as much as they can in a short amount of time. I like the idea of like, okay, I'm just going to play it pretty regularly, and then check in with how does it feel to be in that moment, and not just it's like, because maybe your early impressions are not that good, or maybe it takes off much later. So I like the idea, but without review codes or anything, it's really hard to get those out on time, and then so by the time content comes out, it's probably no longer relevant. So it's fun, but
No, I still think it's a fantastic, and specifically from the niche I imagine, or the niche I hope we can fill. It's like, hey, sometimes as an older gamer, I play a game, and in that first 5 hours, I'm like, oh my god, this sucks. I hate it. And in a game like, or in a series like a review in 3x, I'm like, oh wow, I can skip past your video to the middle, which is not good. You should watch the whole video. But I can still sort of say, oh wow, so it does get better after 15 hours or 20 hours. Or I could have made it to the middle of the game. I'm like, oh my god, I'm really hating this middle section. Should I even bother finishing this? And then I could listen to it. I'm like, oh yes, Adam says, yeah, the end game is actually worth it. This thing happens. Cool, fine. Or no, it just gets worse. The end sucks. Don't even bother. Stop playing this game right now.
Thankfully, I haven't played that game yet.
Yeah, exactly. So no, and I love the idea, and like talking to different gamers, again, with the late 30s, early 40s, our age, right? This is something that pops up a lot, is that people get into a game like, yes, I tried this thing out. I hated the beginning, or I hated the middle, or the ending sucked. I regretted spending $70-$80 on it. So I think that format is we need to figure out a way of how to market it, or maybe it's right when the game comes out. We're late because we don't get review codes. I mean, we do get review codes early.
Yeah, I gotta play 30 hours of a game while I'm doing my regular job and everything.
Yeah,
before I can even start writing. So, by the time I'm 30 hours in the game, everyone else is 30 hours in the game, and then by the time the video comes out, everyone's 120 hours in the game and done.
So, I think what now that I'm thinking about is what we need to do is like when one of those games are like on a big sale, is when we push out that video on social media and on YouTube again. To say, hey, yes.
We might get an uptick in 𝙎𝙪𝙥𝙦. It's a free game for December on PS Plus with basic PS Plus. So there is the possibility there might be a slight uptick in that. I don't expect it to go up very high because, I mean, it's been a couple weeks since the last time I played 𝙎𝙪𝙥𝙦, and I don't think they've made too many changes since the last time I played. But yeah, I think the balance is still kind of whack. Not in terms of the two sides. They've balanced out Association and Black Market, which is fantastic. So, I mean, if you're playing PvE side or PvP side, that's entirely balanced because now both sides have access to all weapons, and all coffin cradles. So that's even. That's good. You're not just like, oh, I'm playing as the friendly side and I'm at a complete disadvantage because of it. No, that's not an issue anymore. But it is still very punishing in the sense that it can take a really long time to build better gear and really short time to lose.
That would drive me mad. I have an idea. I'm going to go through games that are coming out in 2026 and give me a quick take, whether you want to play it, whether you want to make content for it, or whether you want to play it and make content for it.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have any.
I've got.
I don't have any games on my to-do list. I'm trying to think of games coming out. There's a couple of them. There's that what's it called? Beast of something. The one where the girl has like plant powers. That one looks good, but no idea when that's coming out.
What about Resident Evil Requiem, February 27th next year?
I haven't played a Resident Evil in a long time. I could play a Resident Evil.
Okay, so play it on yourself or play it and make content?
I probably wouldn't play it on my own, just because I would have saved it for Halloween.
You're a saver for Halloween?
I would, if I was going to play it, I would save it for Halloween. But there was it the Fatal Frame remake. Fatal Frame remake is coming out. So I want to play Fatal Frame. So it wouldn't have been my Halloween priority. But it comes out in February.
Yeah. Oh, it says Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly remake March 12th of next year.
Let's see. Yeah, no. Normally, I would have been like, oh, I'm getting this, and then I would save it for Halloween. But I suppose I could play it on release.
What about Neo 3 February 6th?
That is true. There is that one game doing test builds that we can't talk about yet, but I don't think we have a release date for that one. Noble Cooper's talking in the comments. What did you say?
Neo 3 February 6th.
Neo 3. Yeah, I played Neo 2 and I enjoyed my time with it. But I was like, do I want to play Neo 3? Oh man, Neo 2. I was like 200 something hours in by the time I was
Oh
done.
my god.
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, I need to. I was like, do I want to put I had fun in Neo, but I didn't have as much fun as I do in some other games. So I was like, I might pass on Neo 3. I enjoyed Neo 2. It was fun. But it was a long game. It took me like 3 months to finish that. So I was like, do I want to play Neo 3?
All right, last choice. Crimson Desert, March 19th.
Yeah, I'd be willing to try Crimson Desert. I was kind of like half eyeing that one.
Okay. So, but most likely next year, it looks like Monster. What am I saying? Monster. Fatal Frame 2 is a guaranteed play for next year.
It's a guaranteed add to the backlog.
So not a guaranteed, like guaranteed.
No, because I don't know what games are coming out. Yeah. I mean, Fatal Frame 2 is probably what I was planning on doing for. But again, I was probably planning on doing it for Halloween, which would be well after the content would be relevant. So, I mean, I could play it on release. I could play Resident Evil on release too, and I could play Crimson Desert on release. I mean, I really can. It's really going to depend on what other games are releasing around that time. So, and what else I'm doing.
Of course.
Yeah.
As life happens.
Yeah.
So that is the way of things.
Yeah, they're not a priority like Katamari. Once upon a Katamari, I'm like, nope, 100%. And Ghost of Yotei, yep, definitely 100%. Death Stranding, yep, gonna do it.
So out of all the stuff you've seen for next year, and some of the stuff
I'm trying to remember what I've seen for next year. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what I've seen for next year because I'm like, I don't know off the top of my head what's coming out in 2026 because nothing that I remember has really stood out to me. Because most of the stuff I'm looking forward to doesn't have release dates. Like I said, there's the one, I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. It's like Beasts of something, I think. But no release date on that. No release date on Final Fantasy VII Part 3. No release date on shoot, I was thinking about it like 2 seconds ago and then it dropped out of my head. But yeah, most of the stuff is no release dates. Oh, like a Persona 6 or something like that, no release date. So far 2026 seems to be like clear out my backlog and that then.
Yeah, I saw something. PC Gamer did an article about, they called it like Persona-esque game Demon School, which apparently has 2 big updates that makes it really good, and it's on sale on Steam.
Don't know. I also want to play 100 Line Defense Army.
Yes, me too. After you talked about it on the show.
Yep, I want to play that one. But I was really kind of hoping that they would come to console, but no news of it. And I know what's going to happen is if I get it on Steam, like the week after I buy it, it's gonna be announced for console.
No, then you'd rather wait. Yeah, I mean that's what it was super hard. That's why I wrote it down on my calendar. Like at the end of December, think more clearly about like how much time it's gonna take me to finish a game, what I'm gonna make content for. But I guess this, like for me, one thing I was kind of feeling is like playing 2 games and making content for 2 games, like the cozy stuff for my own channel, stuff for us. Is really difficult because I really like I can do 1 game for content, 1 game for myself, but doing 2 for both, it feels like a little bit mentally tiring.
Yeah, no, I'm the kind of person who doesn't like to play 2 games at a time. I just play 1 at a time. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
no,
so
I agree,
like...
and I just like it. I prefer the days where I could play like the cozy stuff for myself and feel relaxed and do something else for the channel. But like it is what it is. But we should talk about Reddit questions, sir.
Sure.
So your very first question of today, you are tasked with presenting 1 game to aliens to prevent an invasion. What game would it be and why?
Space Invaders. I mean, just look at Space Invaders. I have 1 quarter Look at how many of you guys I can take out. Now imagine, how many quarters do I have? How many quarters does the US have? How many quarters are generated by the Earth's economy every single day? Imagine how many of your ships go down with all those quarters. You know. But more seriously, Helldivers is actually another great choice because if you come for us, we'll come for you. But we're going to do it with childlike glee and zero regard for our own well-being. So yeah, don't mess with Earth.
I love the Space Invaders answer. I mean, like you told it to me online. I'm like, okay, cool. And then now you explain. I'm like, oh my god, that's way better. With
this one quarter can take out an entire army. How many quarters do you think I have?
I love that.
Are you willing to risk it? This one ship.
And I mean, if you're watching this live, like quarters are like one of the most like a $100 town dollar bill is like essential in town. A quarter is like everything in America.
Yeah. I mean, not anymore. Everything's like more than $1, but it used to be.
Yes.
But yeah.
It used to be like you could get stuff for a quarter.
Yeah.
I used to hear. I mean, you grew up with that sort of pricing. I would imagine.
Imagine how many ships I can kill with a stack of quarters. Now imagine every person on Earth with a stack of whatever currency goes into that machine. You'll be dying in the billions.
Exactly.
The deaths will be in the billions very quickly. Yeah. It does not go well for you.
Yes.
It kind of reminds me of that Futurama episode where Fry wonders what life would be like if it was like a video game.
Oh my god. Yeah, I don't.
Such a great episode.
I need to go back and watch that.
I have a 2-liter bottle of Shasta and my All Rush mixtape.
Dude, your freaking brain is amazing that you remember all this stuff.
I can remember a lot of Futurama quotes.
That's good. As a segue into today's next question, what's a video game quote so recognizable that the entire series can be represented by one phrase? For me, it's got to be war. War never changes from Fallout.
Yeah, so first of all, I got 3. The first one is not a quote that's actually in the game, but "We bang" from Mass Effect. That pretty much sums up Mass Effect. Another one, not for the entire series, but just for the one game itself, and that's "All right, everyone, let's mosey." And if you're a fan of the game, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if it is not in part 3, heads roll. I mean, come on, you guys have to include that. But if I'm talking about an actual quote that is in the game that represents basically the entire series, that would have to be "Ďežíte wares if you have coin."
I got the third one. I didn't get the second one.
Of course you didn't. You're not a fan of Final Fantasy VII.
Ah, okay.
If you're a fan of Final Fantasy VII, you know the line, "All right, everyone, let's mosey."
I mean, as long as I've known you, like I am a vicarious fan of Final Fantasy VII. Like, because you've enjoyed it so much, I'm like, this is awesome. I like the series. I will support it. I'm like, hey, you should buy this, but I don't think I'll ever get time to play this series.
Yeah, no, there's not a lot of, I mean, there's a lot of quotes from Final Fantasy. Another one, and that's the thing, is like each one kind of represents its entry. It doesn't necessarily represent the entire series. For example, in Final Fantasy Tactics, the "blame yourself or God," which is a great line, but apparently they translated it differently, which is kind of sad because I think that's actually a really good line.
Totally agree.
Yeah, blame yourself, or, you know, like, don't blame us, blame yourself or God. It's a great one-liner. There's that one. "This guy are sick," which is a great line from Final Fantasy VII as well, but that's right up there with "all your base are belong to us" is a really bad translation error that comes out really, really good. So yeah, they've got quite a few good ones.
Very cool. Any final thoughts, Adam? Anything about streaming? Anything about your schedule you want to mention to the ladies and gentlemen and everyone else?
Yeah, I mean, I missed Fridays. I missed streaming on Friday because we had to take the cat to the hospital, and I wasn't able to do it yesterday. I should be able to do it tomorrow and Friday, hopefully. Nah, you know, any unforeseen circumstances notwithstanding, which tends to happen. That's life. But yeah, I'm currently finishing up Katamari. I am really close. I finally finished Edo. Edo took forever because it's got the most levels and it's got the hardest levels because yeah, of course it does. The cow level, the cow bear level. But I got an S rank on it. So now I am in Old West US and I got to finish those levels out. And I think I only have maybe one left there. And then I get to do modern times. There's only a couple levels there. And then I have to go back because there's a couple levels that unlocked as I unlocked more cousins. Because at the time I didn't have all the cousins. And now I'm only like 6 or so short. So then go back and complete those levels. And then I will have not only platinumed Katamari, because the only thing you need, because this Katamari is way easier to platinum than the others. You just need to get all 3 crowns in a level, and there's a platinum for each level, and that's it. But I will have also S ranked everything, and I will also have completed all challenges, which there are no trophies for. But yeah, I will be 100% done with Katamari, and then after that, yeah, I don't really know what I'm gonna do next. Yeah, I don't know. There was a Triangle Strategy was on sale for Black Friday, and I picked that up. Yeah. So maybe I'll do Triangle Strategy because I would love to do that. I really wanted to do it. It didn't release on PlayStation originally. It was only on Switch. And I was so disappointed because Octopath Traveler was the same thing. So I picked up Triangle Strategy. Octopath Traveler 2 was on sale, but not the original Octopath Traveler. So I was like, oh, it'll go on sale again. I'll wait until Octopath Traveler is on sale. Play that first, and then play Octopath Traveler 2. And then I can probably play Octopath Traveler 0. But yeah, I think maybe the next one maybe is Triangle Strategy, or yeah, there's a couple other games. There's a bunch of games in my library. I don't know if you remember, but like years ago, 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, I don't remember, but a long time ago, when we were talking about like games that we're looking forward to playing, and I said Metro Exodus, and I bought Metro Exodus, and I still haven't played Metro Exodus. So the Metro Exodus,
I don't remember it, but I mean that sounds very, very. I mean, it's just like my situation.
Yeah, Metro Exodus. Like, yeah, there's a bunch of them. Triangle Strategy, Metro Exodus, Knights of Azure 2. I want to try that one. Eternites sounded interesting. I picked that one up. It was like 80% off. What else? Still haven't played the Kuni no Ichi, the one that's made by Studio Ghibli. I haven't played those ones yet. There's a bunch of games that I have. I was going through my library the other day, and I was like, oh, I have this game. Oh, I have that game. Oh. What did I don't remember either it was free and I forgot, or I bought it and I forgot. So there's a lot of games that I want to get to. So
very cool. That is a question we'll have to deal with coming into next year, or the backlog.
Yeah.
And maybe we do a revisit of the breaking backlog episode, which would be really
there's
fun.
so many games. Yeah. If I just went through my library right now, I could probably pick out 10 at least, really quickly, at least 10. And there's more than 10. But like, I could just go be like, oh yeah, I need to play that one. Oh yeah, that one. And I'm like, I have every intention of playing. I just haven't played them because I haven't had time. But it doesn't look like there's any immediate games coming in. So yeah.
Very good. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, wherever you are, thank you very much for tuning in. It is a pleasure, as always, to keep making content for you, to see your comments, to see the engagement. And stay tuned for next week. I believe next week or next week might be our last sort of like live news episode, and then we'll be talking about some special episodes moving towards the end of the year. I need to check my calendar for that. But as always, we appreciate the support, and we will see you next week, Tuesday. Take care.